It is a matter of great pride to us that in the global league tables, India first of all ranks number 1 on the total number of IPOs and issuances anywhere in the world, with a very, very significant number there. It's almost one every trading session, almost. In terms of the amount of capital raised, in terms of stock exchanges, we are 5th. But if you look at us from a jurisdiction point of view, we are ranking number 3. The quantum of funds raised is still to catch up with the larger economies, that is the US and China. But if you look at the growth rate, look at the 49% growth rate, compounded growth rate over the last 5 years. There is nobody equaling our growth rate there in any significant manner. So this is a matter of great pride for us that we are part of this ecosystem, which really has allowed us to put our stamp on the global stage. One of the things that at Sebi we are very conscious about is that the focus we need to bring to clearing applications for capital raise should be brought to a minimum. We've been tracking this for about 11 or 12 quarters. And as you can see, for us, the important thing is not that there is pendency. In fact, pendency is good because it means that there is more and more activity in the market. But what we track like a hawk is the aging. So you can see that starting from March of 2022 to July, which was day before yesterday, end of July, what is the way in which we are working to bring the aging of applications down? And I had mentioned this the last time I spoke at this forum, that unlike the classical way in which a government system measures the time taken, which is normally computed from the date of receipt of complete information, right? And I'd mentioned then, I remember a lot of people laughed. I'd said that, it's very easy for a government officer to reset his or her clock, because when you're running out of time, you simply ask one more question. It doesn't matter what that question is. You simply ask a question and you get to reset your clock and say, I haven't received complete information. So in Sebi, we don't actually allow that. This data is from date of first application. So the whole process of streamlining this approval process so that we are able to facilitate faster capital raise, particularly when the markets are doing so well, it is very important for the economy, for corporates to be able to raise money at a time when markets are conducive. So really, the greens and the yellows you're seeing in the July are where we are comfortable, because from date of first application, including all the interaction with the company and the merchant bankers, is where a bulk of our applications are. Anything exceeding 3 months, and we have 8 of those, is largely on account of either we don't have, or the company doesn't have regulatory approvals yet in place, or that there is a judicial intervention, or that there is a significant non-compliance with regulations in the past. For instance, deemed public issue kind of violations in the past, which is resulting in those applications going beyond the 3-month number. What we have done, because it is important for us that troublesome applications do not block the entire system, so we have introduced a mechanism of return of documents. Now this is something which, interestingly, I was very amused to read in some newspaper that some market participant commented that, Sebi can return a document even if, the requirement of the document is in active voice, but it is in passive voice, and passive voice is active voice. I was quite amused to read that, because in actual fact, the reason why documents are returned is the following. You can see here that where the observation letters have been issued, the number of 65 there, the documents returned 16. Imagine we could have approved 16 more documents, okay, or withdrawn, so another 20. So almost 30% more we could have approved But what came in the way? What came in the way was that a director of the merchant banker was allotted shares in the company 2.5 months before the document filing. So he's directly conflicted, right? This is not active and passive voice of the document. This is because a director of the applicant company is already under investigation by Sebi for fraud in a previous IPO. This is not active and passive voice of the document. This is because the document has internal inconsistencies. एक जगह number कुछ और दिया है, same number in another place is completely different. So even that much due diligence has not happened in a document where you have internal inconsistencies. You have documents where after days of reading the document, you can't figure out what is the company going to use the money for. Okay, this is not active voice and passive voice. We have large number of documents which are just incomplete. So the whole issue for us is we worry about that the applicants who are actually extremely diligent, who put up extremely good quality documents, and there are a large number of those, unfortunately get stuck in the queue behind the ones which have all of these complications. And we believe that it is not right, because we as a regulator are duty bound to process documents on a first come first serve basis, right? We cannot show preference for anybody. So the only mechanism we had which we could exercise was to say, if this is all because you are not able to move the document forward, problem is not in our processing. We will return the document to you so that we unclutter the path, and very good applicants who are waiting behind are brought in front and cleared as soon as possible.